You don't see this on TV. You don't see this in the movies. Come join me as I share with you one little thing that attorneys do during real-life trials that can drive you bonkers and drive you crazy. Come join me for a second as I share with you exactly what I'm talking about. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. So now let's say this is a medical malpractice case, and now your case goes all the way to trial. You're at trial and you're on trial for 2 weeks. Every single time one of the attorneys makes an objection and the judge rules in his favor, that attorney turns to the judge and says, "Thank you, Your Honor." The first time, it sounds like they're being respectful. The second time it happens, it sounds like they're being respectful. The third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the 10th time, the attorney says, "Thank you." Now it doesn't sound respectful anymore. Now what does that mean? So now when an attorney makes an objection, he's doing so because he wants to alert the court, alert the judge, "Hey judge, just want to let you know, hello, this question is improper. This evidence should not be coming in. This testimony should not be heard." And now the judge has to make a ruling. So when he makes a ruling, he's got to decide, do I agree with the lawyer who's making this objection, or do I agree with the attorney who's trying to introduce this evidence or get this testimony in front of the jury? One attorney is going to be happy, one attorney is not going to be happy. The attorney who is happy, based upon the judge's ruling, for him to go ahead and say, "Thank you, judge," every single time, it sounds almost as if, "Hey, judge, thanks so much for giving me a decision in my favor. Yes, thumbs up." Okay? I'm exaggerating here. If you're sitting in the back of the courtroom or you're a litigant, and now you see this the first, 5th, 10th, 15th time, at first you begin to think, hey, this is because of respect. There's a sense of decorum in the courtroom. You have to give deference to the judge. The judge is the one who controls everything that goes on in the courtroom, right? And you think that every time the judge gives a favorable ruling to one attorney, "Hey, thank you so much, judge. That's so wonderful. Thank you. I give you a big thumbs up." Well, no, I'm exaggerating. But the point is, why is he doing it? Well, most likely he's doing it out of respect. But after a period of time, it becomes something more than that. It becomes almost like, "Yeah, thank you so much, judge. I know you're leaning in my favor," because that's what it sounds like. But when an attorney makes repeated objections and the judge agrees with him, and each time he says, "Thank you, judge. Thank you so much for agreeing with me," now it begins to seem as if the judge is favoring or leaning in favor of one side or the other. Now you should know something. The judge is supposed to be impartial. The judge is not supposed to be leaning in favor of one side or the other. And these cases that I'm talking about are jury trials, where the judge is supervising and controlling everything that goes on in the courtroom with the jury trial. But here's something else you may not know. In a jury trial, the judge is not the one to give the ultimate decision about whether or not you're entitled to a verdict in your favor. In fact, that is the jury's function. The jury is the one to ultimately give you a decision, to decide whether you are more likely right than wrong. The judge controls what evidence comes in. The judge controls what testimony will come in. The judge controls when we start, when we finish, what witnesses will be allowed to testify, which ones will not. The judge controls all that. The judge makes rulings of law. But the judge does not decide whether you are entitled to a verdict in your favor. I'll tell you something else. At the end of the trial, if the jury decides in your favor and gives you a substantial amount of money as compensation for all the harms and losses and damages that you incurred, the judge can, at the very end of the case, decide, hey, this verdict is inconsistent with the weight of the evidence, and throw your verdict out. The judge can determine that you need a new trial on damages. That means you'd have to try the case all over again just to see how much money you are to receive. So that would be a legal issue for the judge to decide. But as determining which facts are more likely true than not, that's the jury's function. Deciding whether or not your doctor was careless and violated the basic standards of medical care, that is the jury's function. Deciding whether your doctor's carelessness was a cause of your injury, that's the jury's function. And deciding how much money you are to receive for each element of damages that you're claiming, that's the jury's function. The judge does not decide that issue. So why do I share this quick information with you? I share it with you just to give you an insight and an understanding into what goes on in these cases here in New York. You know, I recognize that you're watching this video because you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York, and you have not yet started a lawsuit, but are thinking about bringing one, but haven't done so yet because you still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.